before we start, does anyone have any question or any issues with our previous topics or for this subject? Can be issues like um, lacks access to internet or notes or resources for this subject. Okay, since wala naman, no? So, okay, so today I will start with the discussion of JavaScript para hindi masyadong congested yung topics natin for the finals. Since we will also have back-end development using PHP. And we will still have React.js. So as much as possible, we try to start JavaScript before before the midterm exam. So we start JavaScript for midterm and then we continue it in finals together with PHP and React.js. But before we start with JavaScript, let me just go back to HTML. In HTML forms. So I just want to highlight that with HTML5, you already have the new input types and new form elements like your data list. So, and then for the input types, you already have your input type color, date, date time local, image, you have email, month, number, range, search, and reset, uh, telephone number, time, URL, and week. So these input types have a special display or special UI depending on the browser that you are using. Just like for example, date has a different appearance in desktop and mobile browsers. Okay, so in desktop, your date input type date might be displaying as this, an input box with a date or a calendar icon, and once you click it, you will be displayed with a date picker. Okay, depending on the browser, it might display a date picker or it might display um, a different date picker. Whereas in mobile browsers, it may display it as a spinner for month, spinner for year, or spinner for day, or it can also be a date picker. Okay, so it depends on the browser. So yeah, you can have input type date, you can have input type number. These are special input types that help you with your front end validation. Okay? In web apps kasi, in websites, we have two levels of validation or two types of validation. We have front end and we have back end. Front end validation is by using your HTML or JavaScript to validate the values input from forms so that the user will immediately know or immediately see that there is a validation issue or a validation error with your input. Like for example, you have input type number. You only want to have numbers for this input. So you can have input type number and you cannot just input type or you can just input text here. Yes. Hello, may issue? Choppy ba signal or you have question? Okay, so I just wala naman. Go back to the input type. So yan, para makita agad ni sabi niya, para makita agad ni user yung validation error. So this input types will help you validate the input easier than just using JavaScript to validate. Okay. So for example, you want whole numbers only, or you want numbers with only 0.5 step increment. So this will validate your input easier, or you want an input type that will only accept email. So what happens if we put just, for example, an email? So ayan, please include at the email address. So yan, this input types, new input types will help you validate your forms faster for front end, since you will still need to impose back end validation. Kasi in web applications, websites, we cannot trust the submitted data. It can always be tampered, it can always be malicious. So you have to do both front end and back end validation. Back end validation is done by your server side language, PHP or Node.js, or depending on your back end language, you will have to do back end validation. Okay, any question before we proceed to JavaScript? Salita kayo. Wala or meron? Did you guys understand? Tao po. Okay, so if there are no more questions regarding the input types, we now start with JavaScript. So, what is JavaScript? It's the world's most popular programming language, according to the Wiley Schools. It's a programming language of the web. It's easy to learn, and I am from basic to advanced. Although it says here that programming JavaScript is a programming language, many claims that JavaScript is not a programming language, it's just a scripting language since it lacks the capability of a full-fledged programming language like file access, memory access, network access, and so on. Okay? Although your backend JavaScript Node.js makes some of them possible, but for the front-end JavaScript, the JavaScript that resides in your browser lacks the capability of a full-fledged programming language. So yan, what can JavaScript do? JavaScript can change the HTML content. JavaScript can change HTML attributes. So here it changes the source of the image. JavaScript can change HTML styles. JavaScript can hide HTML elements. JavaScript can show HTML elements and so on. JavaScript can do or manipulate almost everything that you see in your browser. Okay? They can hide the content, they can show, they can create, they can insert, they can remove. JavaScript can fetch data from a web server and display it in your web page. JavaScript can communicate with the backend. Okay? Although it cannot be able to write or read from database without the aid of your backend uh, language without the use of API or something. So where to put JavaScript? We can put the JavaScript inside the script tag, and we can put the script tag in the head or in the body, depending on whether you want the script to be loaded first before the content or you want the content first to be loaded before the script. So just to share that once the script has start downloading, it will hold the browser will hold the downloading of other elements in the page. Okay. And if you want your contents to be loaded first before the scripts, you want to put it in the body just before the closing tag of the body. Okay. So yan. Or you can put your script in an external JavaScript file ending with the extension .js. And then you can add it into your document using the script tag and the source. Okay. There is no limit as to how many script you want to add in your project, but take note that every script that you add will add to the loading speed or the loading time of your web page. Okay. So any unnecessary scripts you need to remove it from your page. Like for example, there is a script for creating charts, but you are not displaying charts in your web page. You have to remove them, or you don't need to include them. Or you may have a script for loading maps, but you don't have a map in your web page, then you don't have to include them. Okay? Kasi it adds to the footprint of your web page. It adds to the base size of your web page. Any questions so far? Cut pala. Sir, haan ka na makakonect ni Kathleen Bernal. Kapsat ka na sa mundo. Or Goose. Okay. We'll just try to... I'll try to upload the recordings before the midterm. I will just try to upload them as raw, hindi wala akong time mag-edit. So, anyway, kung meron kang questions, you can just ask, you can just turn on microphones, or you can also type in chat, both in Messenger and in Google Meet or the classroom. Okay, so yan, since wala kayong question, medyo dadalian na natin. The display possibility of JavaScript, we can use the inner HTML, which changes the content of an element. So if you remember our CSS box model, or the parts of an HTML element, we have the head tab, we have the content, and we have the closing tab. So inner HTML changes the content. Okay? We can use document.write, although it's mostly used for testing purposes. We can have window.alert, or just alert itself, which displays a dialog box or confirm. And we can use the console. Wait lang. Okay, I'm back. Uy, nag-laugh na si Mr. Crisologo. Nag-lunch din ba? May maging lunch later. Nagpabilin lang ko. Yan. So your console messages, console.log, console.error, and so on will be displayed in the console of your browser. So it's usually here. The DevTools of Chrome, we have the console there. So yan. They're usually displayed here. It's very useful for testing purposes since it does not show directly to the user. So these are the console messages. Warning. Oh, what happened? Why go to elements? So nandito lahat, the levels, warning, messages. Warning, messages and errors, nandito na lahat. You can also um, remove or just show the different levels. Like for example, you just want to show errors, so uncheck the others. So console.log is for information for everything. You can also console.warn or console.error. Ayan. So when the alert is, it shows a dialog box just like your JOption dialog box in JOption dialog in Java or your message box in C Sharp. And then, so close na natin si DevTool. Close. Ayan. And then statements. So just like every other programming language, we have statements. So a statement in JavaScript can be or not be terminated by a semicolon. So the semicolon is optional, meaning if in JavaScript, if the statement is complete, it tries to read that statement as a statement. Otherwise, it tries to read the next line as continuation of that statement. Okay? So yeah, it's white space. They are ignored. Multiple spaces are ignored. And then line length and line breaks. Code blocks are codes inside your block statement, your open and close curly braces, and the keywords. Okay. So syntax, much likely, the syntax is familiar. It's much like Java or C Sharp or C. So although the literals, the variables may be a little different. So JavaScript literals, we have numbers, we have strings, we have boolean, and we have the objects. Okay. And then comments. So in JavaScript, you comment a single line by double slash and multiple lines by your slash asterisk and then terminated by asterisk slash. Okay, and then variables. So in JavaScript, by the way, JavaScript is also known as ECMA script, or if you have seen ES5, ES1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or ES 2015, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, ayan, JavaScript is otherwise known as ECMA script. So variables in JavaScript, we can declare variables using the var keyword. This is for the earlier versions of JavaScript. So if you want to support older browsers, you might need to stick with var instead of using let and cons, which are introduced with 2015 version. So ES 2015. So let is for a block scope and cons is for constant. So in JavaScript variables, so variable names should be variable names should contain letters, digits, underscores, and dollar sign. It must begin with a letter, although it can also begin with dollar sign and underscore. Names are case sensitive and reserved words cannot be used as variable names. Okay? And then the equal to operator in JavaScript is double equals. The single equal is for assignment. Okay, so data types, mamaya na. Nasa ano naman. So operators, we have the assignment operator, the arithmetic operators. So, ayan, addition, take note that JavaScript is also following the PEMDAS or the PEDMAS. Okay, division and multiplication having the same priority. So these are the arithmetic operators having the exponentiation or exponent introduced in ES 2016, division, modulus, increment, decrement. Then assignment operator, so you may all be familiar with this. String operators, concatenating string in JavaScript is by using plus. It's both used to add strings and add numbers. Okay, comparison, we have equal to, the triple equals is comparing if they are equal value and equal type. So meaning a 5 without quotes and 5 with quotes will not be equal if you are going to use triple equals, because a string and a number is not of equal type. Okay, so not equal and not equal type, not and then double equals. Then the ternary operator is shorthand for if else. Logical operators, and then the JavaScript type operators, type of, which returns the type of the variable, and instance of if it's an instance of an object type. We also have bitwise operators, just like other programming languages. Okay. Arithmetic, assignment, they are just the same with Java. I suppose you have taken Java multiple times, or maybe even C Sharp. So the data types, the other one of the differences of JavaScript from Java, although they are completely different languages, both in concept and in syntax. Meaning, the data types are dynamic. Okay? You can just declare a variable with the name and assign any value to it. Okay, you can assign a number, you can assign a string, or you can assign an object. So creating an object in JavaScript is as easy as this. Unlike creating an object in Java or in C Sharp, where you have to define a class first. So in here, just surrounding a key value pair with an open and closed curly bracket will make it an object. Okay? So the concept of data type, JavaScript variables can hold any data type. It can be a combination of string, number, an object, an array, and so on. So adding a number with a string will treat the number as a string. Ayan, JavaScript types are dynamic. So in this example, you declare variable x, which is undefined, and then you can assign a number to x. Now x becomes a number, and then afterwards you can assign a string to the variable x, which makes the variable a string. So in this case, there is no restriction whether you have assigned a number or a string or an object to a variable. You can always reassign any value since the types are dynamic. Okay? Unlike sa Java na pag dineclare mo siya na string, you can only put string. You cannot put an object or you cannot put primitive types. So, and then using double quotes and single quotes, strings can be declared using single or double quotes. If you want to put a double quote inside the string, you can surround it with a single quote. If you want to put a single quote inside the string, you have to surround it with a double quote. Or you can use backslash. And then the numbers, and we only have one type of number, and numbers can be written with or without decimals. So a number is a number in JavaScript. It can be a decimal, it can be a floating point value, it can be signed numbers, and so on. And then we have Boolean, true or false. Okay, and then we have arrays. Arrays in JavaScript are just numeric arrays. Okay? You cannot have associative arrays in JavaScript. Creating an array in JavaScript is as easy as this. So var chars is equal to square brackets and then the values of the array. So index will be automatic from 0 to the size of the array minus 1. So array indexes or indices are 0 base. You cannot skip an index in JavaScript. Okay, unlike in PHP, wherein you can skip an index. And then JavaScript objects, ayan, curly braces, and comes with a name value pair separated by commas. Okay, any question? These are the primitive data in JavaScript: string, number, boolean, and undefined. Undefined if you declared, if a variable is undeclared, if it is declared but not initialized, or if it is uh, declared to be with the type undefined, or assigned the value of undefined. Okay, and then we have complex data. So ayan, we also have functions. So JavaScript functions, ayan, they are declared using the function keyword. No need for the return type since JavaScript is dynamic. So you just declare a function using the keyword function and then your function name and then the parameters. Okay, and then the body. So this is the old way of declaring functions. in, I think, ES 2015, you can declare functions using, we have what we call the arrow functions, wherein you can just declare the name of the function equals or the arrow key and then the parameters. Okay, we will have more on discussion in arrow functions when we will be discussing React.js. Para minsanan na lang din. Para hindi ulit-ulit masyado. Okay? So you can also declare a function using a var keyword, wherein you can you can assign the function value to a variable, and then the open and close parenthesis operator invokes a function. If you want to call a function, if you want to invoke a function, you have to put the open and close parenthesis. Otherwise, the function name itself refers to the function object. So in that case, you can have a function as a parameter to other function. Like for example, you want to pass a function as a callback function of another function, so that if it has finished executing, it will call the callback function, which this is usually for asynchronous events or asynchronous programming. You can either have a callback function or you can have promises. Any questions so far? So in JavaScript, we using the var keyword, we can only have global or local scope. Global scope when they are outside, declared outside the function, and local scope if they are declared inside a function. Okay? Local scope meaning the values or this variable will only be available inside this function, and global scope is the variables having the scope globally. So even if they are declared inside the block, inside the if, or inside the for loop, or I mean inside the loop, the values or that variable can still be accessible outside if you declared them using var. Okay, and but if you declared them using let, that's your block scope, so it will not be available outside. And objects, so yan, of course objects refers to real life objects. We can just declare them using open and the key value pairs with the open and close curly braces. So to access a object property, you just need the object name followed by the property name, or object name and then accessing the property name like this, just like an associative array. And you can use the for in, I mean the for of loop to loop through the objects loop through the keys of the object. Okay, the this keyword, it refers to the owner of the function. In this example, it's the person object that owns the full name. So in this example, this refers to this object person. We will have more discussion on the this keyword when we will will be discussing arrow functions since it has a different meaning with arrow functions. Okay, object methods. Ayan, for object method name, for accessing the methods inside object, you have to use the object name followed by the method name. Do not declare string numbers and booleans as objects. You have to declare them as primitive types. Okay? And then I think this will be the last for now, events. So JavaScript events, HTML events are things that happen to HTML elements. When a JavaScript is used in HTML page, JavaScript can react to these events. So HTML event can be something the browser does or something a user does. Examples are when an HTML web page has finished loading, when an input field was changed. Okay, you type something on the text field, you select a checkbox or select a radio button, when a button was clicked, and so on. Okay, you can be scrolling, can be dragging something, it can be finish loading, or it can be start loading, and so on. So HTML allows event handler attributes with JavaScript code to be added to HTML elements. Example, event equals some JavaScript, or with double quotes, event equals some JavaScript. Example, button on click, we execute this statement. Okay, document that get element by ID that inner HTML equals date. So these are the common HTML events. We have onChange, onClick, onMouseOver, onMouseOut, and keydown, onLoad. These are the most common, but there are more. So it's either you pass them or you use them as attribute, or you can append or you can add an event listener to uh, every HTML elements. You just have to select that element and then add the event listener. Okay. So HTML events attributes can execute JavaScript code directly, just like the example above. HTML event attributes can call JavaScript functions. You can assign your own event handler functions to HTML elements. You can prevent events from being sent to or being handled, and more. So yan. But if you don't want your HTML definitions or your document to be populated like this, you can remove this and have it done by JavaScript only. All the definitions, all the events can be defined in a JavaScript. Okay, any questions? Naintindihan ba yung JavaScript discussion natin? Is it clear? Is it easy to understand, just like your previous programming languages? Take note that JavaScript is one of the most popular programming languages today. It's one of the most versatile one. It can be used for front-end development, for back-end development using your Node.js. You can also develop desktop applications using JavaScript or mobile applications using JavaScript. So any questions so far regarding JavaScript, or regarding the subject, or regarding your project, regarding the midterm exam, or the final project? Come on, it's time to ask questions. Miss Mayor, ano si Mayor Desiree? You want to represent your classmates to ask questions? No. And by the way, you can also use JavaScript in your uh, project if you want. In your midterm project, React.js project. Pwede na rin. Sir Balin, React.js project. Pwede bang gumamit ng React sa project nyo for... Is this for the midterm or finals? Anyway, both should be okay. I don't require JavaScript, but you can use. You can use to make your project more interactive, more user-friendly. So, from their class kanina sa CS3, they were asking if it's multiple pages for the midterm project. Yes, it should be multiple pages depending on your target project for the finals. Let's say, for example, you are planning to build an e-commerce. Then for front end, of course, you will need your list of products, your cart page, your checkout page, your thank you page or the purchase done page, and so on. If what other pages you want to add can be previous purchases and so on, or previous orders, or you want a login. Okay, and then for backend, of course, you will need your list of products or add and edit pages, your orders pages, list of orders. Maybe you also need categories and so on. Okay, so mabiling by group by time midterm tayo mapagtutulagan nalain kasanap mo for finals. Uh, Madali lang yung pang midterm. Madali lang naman yung midterm. So, and we haven't decided for the groupings for finals yet. So, gawa muna kayo individually for midterm. And then, you will just choose the best for finals. You will just choose whichever you want to continue to develop. Now, Miss Castro. Ay, usa rin. Ako, yun yung problema. Sino ba yung mga walang gagamitin? You can just PM me kung sino yung mga walang gagamitin para we can decide how to do the grouping. Kasi if we try to group by barangay or by place, baka naman lahat ng nandun sa place na yon ay walang internet connection or walang laptop. Friends. Kapag friends, what if nasa malayo yung ibang friend nyo, walang gagamitin, paano siya tutulong? I mean, we do have the internet, we have collab softwares, but ang problema nga natin, wala gagamitin yung iba. So, how? Maybe you can suggest other groupings. Let's say, nearest classmate na meron, sir. For finals, I'm planning to have 3 person per group. Persons. Hindi ko na na-edit. Yan. So, 3 persons per group. Design, front end, back end, collab. That's what I'm planning for finals. 3. Maximum of 3. So, pwede rin mag-solo kung gusto nyo. But for midterm, I think 3 is too much. Why not ganito? Okay, let's have a maximum of 3 per group. Let's make your midterm project by group also. So let's have a maximum of 3 per group. And you decide what will be your final project. And we will have the minimum number of pages to prepare for the midterm project. Okay? So for example, you decided to, let's say, the e-commerce project for the finals, then we will have at least maybe 15 pages para may gawin din yung mga ibang group ninyo. Hopefully, you will collaborate. Okay? Max 3, max 3. You can have 2 or you can do it single. Okay. So, I think that will be all for today. If you have other questions, send it to the group chat. Or you can ask also from the classroom. So, thank you for participating and have a nice weekend.
Bye, sir. Have a nice weekend, sir.
Goodbye, sir. Salamat.